The 30 days that ended a legend, James Dean's final month. There's a photograph. Black and white, grainy, taken on September 30th, 1955. It shows a young man leaning against a silver sports car at a gas station. He's smiling. His hair is tousled by the wind. He looks so alive, so impossibly alive. 2 hours after that photograph was taken, he was dead. His name was James Dean. He was 24 years old. He had the world at his feet. And in 30 days, he threw it all away. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Those 30 days weren't an accident. They were a choice. A decision James Dean made, step by step, knowing exactly what he was risking. Maybe even knowing how it would end. This is the story of those days. The days between glory and oblivion. The days when everyone warned him, and he didn't listen. Day 1, September 1st, 1955. James Dean wakes up in his apartment in Sherman Oaks, California. The apartment is small, messy, clothes thrown over chairs, racing magazines scattered across the floor, half-empty coffee cups on every surface. This is not how movie stars are supposed to live. But James Dean has never done anything the way he's supposed to. He walks to the window, looks out at the Los Angeles morning, the smog, the palm trees, the endless sprawl of a city that made him famous and can't figure out what to do with him. He's just finished filming Giant, 3 months in Texas playing a ranch hand who becomes an oil tycoon. It's the best work he's ever done. He knows it. Elizabeth Taylor knows it. Even director George Stevens, who fought with Dean every single day on set, knows it. 3 films, 3 masterpieces. East of Eden made him a star. Rebel Without a Cause made him a voice for a generation. Giant will make him immortal. But right now, standing at that window, James Dean doesn't care about any of that. Right now, he only cares about one thing: racing. Day 2. The Silver Bullet. Competition Motors in Hollywood. September 2nd, 1955. Dean walks into the showroom and stops cold. There it is. A Porsche 550 Spider. Silver, low to the ground, aerodynamic, beautiful in the way a loaded gun is beautiful. The car costs $7,000. That's more than most Americans make in 2 years. But Dean is making $17,000 per film now. Money isn't the problem. The salesman approaches. His name is John von Neumann. German accent, serious face. He's sold sports cars to dozens of Hollywood stars. But something about James Dean makes him nervous. "This isn't a toy, Mr. Dean," von Neumann says carefully. "This is a race car, built for professional drivers. It has no safety features, no forgiveness. You make one mistake, you die." Dean runs his hand along the hood. The metal is cold, smooth, perfect. "I'll take it," he says. Von Neumann tries again. "Mr. Dean, I really think you should consider—" "I'll take it," Dean repeats. His voice is quiet, final. The deal is done. Day 7. The Prophecy. September 8th, 1955. Dean has been driving the Spider around Los Angeles for a week, showing it off, revving the engine at stoplights, feeling the power beneath him. He's in love. That evening, he parks outside a Hollywood restaurant. He's meeting Alec Guinness for dinner. Guinness is in town filming The Swan with Grace Kelly. Dean admires Guinness, wants to impress him, wants to show him the car. Guinness comes outside, looks at the Spider, and something changes in his face. Years later, Guinness would tell this story again and again, always with the same haunted expression. "I looked at that car," Guinness would say, "and I felt death. I don't know how to explain it, but I felt it as clearly as I've ever felt anything in my life." He turns to Dean. "Please," Guinness says, "don't get in that car." Dean laughs. "What are you talking about?" "I'm serious, James. If you get in that car, you will be found dead in it by this time next week." The words hang in the air. Dean's smile fades. For a moment, just a moment. Something flickers in his eyes. Fear, recognition, acceptance. Then the smile returns. "You're crazy, Alec," Dean says. But his voice sounds different now, quieter, less certain. They go to dinner, but Guinness can't shake the feeling, and neither, it seems, can Dean. Day 13, Little Bastard, September 15th, 1955. Dean takes the Spider to a custom paint shop. He wants a nickname on the hood, something that captures what the car is, what he is. The painter asks what he wants. Dean thinks for a moment, then smiles. "Little Bastard," he says. "Excuse me?" "Paint Little Bastard on the hood, in black letters." The painter shrugs. It's Dean's car, Dean's funeral. When the work is done, Dean stands back and looks at it. Little Bastard. The nickname fits perfectly. It's defiant, angry, self-aware. It's everything James Dean has always been. His friend Nick Adams sees the car later that day. "That's a hell of a name, Jimmy," Adams says. "You trying to tempt fate?" Dean just laughs, but it's a hollow laugh, the kind that doesn't reach his eyes. Day 18. The studio's warning. September 20th, 1955. Warner Brothers is worried. Rebel Without a Cause comes out in 3 weeks. They've already seen the preview numbers. The film is going to be huge. James Dean is going to be huge. But James Dean is also going to kill himself in a goddamn race car. Jack Warner calls Dean into his office. Warner is in his 60s. Gray hair, expensive suit. He's run this studio for 30 years. He knows how to handle difficult actors, but James Dean isn't like other actors. "Jimmy," Warner says, trying to sound paternal, "you're about to become the biggest star in Hollywood. Bigger than Brando, bigger than Clift. You're going to have your pick of any role, any director, any salary you want, but only if you're alive." Dean sits across from him, silent, listening, but his mind is somewhere else, already on that highway, already behind the wheel. "I'm asking you," Warner continues, "begging you, don't race that car. At least not until after Rebel comes out. Let the studio buy you out of the race in Salinas. We'll pay the entry fee. We'll make a donation. Just don't go." Dean looks at Warner for a long moment. "I have to go," he finally says. "Why?" Warner demands. "Give me one good reason why you have to risk everything for a stupid car race." Dean stands up, walks to the window, looks out at the studio lot, the sound stages, the commissary, the sets where dreams are manufactured. "Because," Dean says slowly, "when I'm in that car going 130 miles per hour, I'm not James Dean the actor. I'm not anybody's property. I'm not anybody's investment. I'm just me. And that's the only time I feel real." Warner stares at him, realizes he's lost this battle before it even began. "Then God help you, kid," Warner says quietly. Dean walks out. The door closes behind him with a soft click. Day 24. The Girlfriend's Plea. September 26th, 1955. Pierangeli sits in Dean's apartment. She's been crying. Her mascara is smudged. Her hands are shaking. "Why are you doing this to me?" she asks. "Why are you doing this to us?" Dean and Angeli have been on and off for 2 years. They love each other. Everyone knows it. But Angeli's mother won't let them marry. Dean isn't Catholic, isn't Italian, isn't good enough for her daughter. The relationship has been torture for both of them. A love that can never be more than stolen moments and secret meetings. Now Angeli feels him slipping away. Not to another woman. To something worse. To that silver car. To speed. To death. "I'm not doing anything to you," Dean says gently. "I'm just living my life." "Living?" Angeli's voice breaks. "You call this living? You have everything, James. You have fame. You have money. You have talent. You have me. And you're going to throw it all away for what? For some race that doesn't mean anything? Dean tries to hold her. She pushes him away. It means something to me, he says, more than I do. The question hangs there. Dean doesn't answer, can't answer, because they both know the truth. My mother was right about you, Angeli says, her voice cold now. You don't know how to love anything that doesn't hurt you. She leaves. The door slams. Dean stands alone in his apartment, surrounded by racing magazines and photographs of a silver car. He doesn't call her back. Day 28. The safety film. September 28, 1955. 2 days before the end. Dean spends the morning at Griffith Observatory filming a public service announcement for the National Highway Committee. The irony will be apparent soon enough. In the footage, Dean sits casually on a car hood. He looks directly into the camera, and he speaks. Take it easy driving, he says. His voice is steady, confident. The life you might save might be mine. The director, Gig Young, jokes with him between takes. You practicing what you preach there, Jimmy? Dean grins. Always do, Gig. Always do. But Young notices something odd. When the cameras stop rolling, Dean's smile disappears. He stares off into the distance, at something nobody else can see. You okay, Jimmy? Young asks. Dean snaps back. Yeah, I'm fine, just thinking about this weekend. The race in Salinas? Yeah. You gonna win? Dean shrugs. I'm gonna try. Young watches him walk away. Later, he'll tell people that James Dean looked like a ghost that day, like he was already halfway gone. Day 29. The last visit. September 29th, 1955. 1 day before the end. Dean drives to his uncle Marcus Winslow's farm in Paso Robles. It's out of his way. He should be preparing for the race, checking the car, getting rest. But Dean needs to see the farm one more time. This is where he spent part of his childhood after his mother died. This is where he learned to be alone. This is where he learned that everyone you love eventually leaves. Marcus watches from the porch as Jimmy walks through the fields. The boy, because Marcus still thinks of him as a boy, seems different today, quieter, more thoughtful. Jimmy stops under a tree, the same tree where his mother used to read to him, before the cancer, before she died screaming in pain while 9-year-old Jimmy listened from the hallway. Marcus walks over, stands beside his nephew. You don't have to do this race, you know, Marcus says carefully. Nobody would think less of you if you didn't. I know, Dean says. So why do it? Dean is quiet for a long time. When he finally speaks, his voice is barely above a whisper. Because when she died, Uncle Marcus, I died too. At least part of me did. And I've been trying to feel alive ever since. Racing is the only thing that works. When I'm in that car, when I'm pushing it to the limit, when I'm right on the edge of losing control, that's when I feel her again. That's when I feel anything. Marcus doesn't know what to say. What can you say to that kind of pain? They stand together in silence, the afternoon light fading, the shadows growing long. Finally, Dean turns to leave. I should get back, he says. Big day tomorrow. Marcus grabs his arm. Jimmy, be careful. Dean smiles. But it's a sad smile. A knowing smile. I'm always careful, Uncle Marcus. You know that. He drives away. Marcus watches the taillights disappear down the road. He'll never see his nephew alive again. Day 30. The last morning. September 30th, 1955. The final day. Dean wakes up at 8 a.m. He's supposed to leave for Salinas at 10, but he can't sit still. He's wired, electric, alive. He calls his mechanic, Rolf Vuterick. You ready? Ready, Vuterick says. The car is perfect, Jimmy. She'll fly. That's what I want to hear. Dean packs light, racing suit, helmet, a change of clothes. He doesn't need much. He never needs much. His friend Bill Hickman arrives at 1 p.m. Hickman is going to follow behind in Dean's Ford station wagon, towing an empty trailer. Just in case the Spider breaks down, just in case something goes wrong. But nothing is going to go wrong. Dean is sure of it. At 1:30 p.m., they pull out. Dean behind the wheel of the little bastard. Wütherich in the passenger seat. Hickman following in the Ford. Los Angeles fades behind them. The open road stretches ahead. Dean guns the engine. The Spider responds like a living thing, like an extension of his own body. This is what he was born for. This is what he's been searching for his entire life. Freedom. The last hours. They're supposed to take it easy. The car is new. Only 300 miles on it. It needs to be broken in gently. But Dean has never been gentle with anything. He pushes the pedal down. 80 miles per hour, 85, 90. Near Bakersfield, a California Highway Patrol officer pulls them over. Officer Odie V. Hunter. He walks up to the Spider, looks at the young man behind the wheel. "You know how fast you were going?" "Fast?" Dean grins sheepishly. 85 in a 55 zone, license and registration. Dean hands them over. Hunter writes the ticket, hands it back. "Slow down, son," Hunter says. "That car will kill you." "Yes, sir," Dean says. "I'll slow down." Hunter watches them pull away. Later he'll tell reporters that James Dean seemed calm, almost peaceful, like a man who'd already made his peace with whatever was coming. They continue north. At 3:30 p.m., they stop at Blackwell's Corner, a tiny gas station and diner in the middle of nowhere. Dean fills up the tank, buys some apples, uses the bathroom. A young man named Jack Ellington recognizes him. "Hey, you're James Dean!" Dean smiles. Guilty. "Can I get your autograph?" "Sure." They chat for a few minutes, about the car, about racing, about the road ahead. As Dean climbs back into the Spider, Ellington calls out, "Drive safely!" Dean waves. "Always do." Those are the last words James Dean will ever speak to a fan. 5:45 p.m., the intersection. Highway 466, a long straight stretch through farming country. The sun is starting to set. The light is golden, beautiful, the kind of light that makes everything look like a dream. Dean is doing 85 miles per hour, maybe 90. The Spider is singing. The wind is roaring. He feels invincible. Ahead, there's an intersection. Highway 466 and Highway 41. Just a Y in the road. Nothing special. Nothing that should matter. But in that intersection, a black and white Ford Tudor is slowing down, getting ready to turn left across Dean's path. The driver is Donald Turnipseed. He's 23 years old, a student at Cal Poly. He's heading home after a day at the university. He's tired. The sun is in his eyes. He doesn't see the low silver car coming at him. Rolf Wütherich sees it. "He's not going to stop!" he screams. Dean sees it too, but too late. At 85 miles per hour, reaction time means nothing. He tries to swerve, tries to brake. The Spider's tires scream. The smell of burning rubber fills the air. But it's not enough. It's never going to be enough. At 5:45 p.m. on September 30th, 1955, the little bastard slams into Donald Turnipseed's Ford at the intersection of Highway 466 and Highway 41. The sound of the impact can be heard half a mile away. The aftermath. The Spider's front end crumples like paper. The engine is driven back into the cockpit. James Dean is crushed behind the steering wheel. His neck is broken. His chest is crushed. He's bleeding internally. Wütherich is thrown from the car. He lands 20 feet away. Broken leg, broken jaw, but alive. Turnipseed climbs out of his Ford, dazed, bleeding from a cut on his face, but walking, alive. James Dean doesn't climb out of anything. James Dean will never climb out of anything again. People rush to help. A man named Tom Frederick is first on the scene. He looks into the spider, sees Dean, sees the blood, sees the impossible angle of his neck. "Get an ambulance!" Frederick screams. But he already knows it's too late. They pull Dean from the wreckage, try to save him, try to fix what cannot be fixed. An ambulance arrives, rushes him to Paso Robles War Memorial Hospital. The doctors try everything, but there's nothing to be done. There was never anything to be done. At 6:45 p.m., exactly 1 hour after the crash, James Dean is pronounced dead. He's 24 years old. He's been a movie star for 6 months, and now he's gone forever. The next day, October 1st, 1955. The news spreads across America like wildfire. Radio stations interrupt their programming. Newspapers rush out special editions. The headline is always the same: James Dean dead at 24. In Fairmount, Indiana, Dean's father answers the phone at 4 a.m. The voice on the other end tells him his son is dead. Winton Dean sits down, doesn't cry, just sits, staring at nothing. In Los Angeles, Pier Angeli hears the news on the radio. She screams, collapses. Her mother has to call a doctor. Angeli will never fully recover. She'll die 13 years later. An overdose. Some say it was suicide. Some say she died of a broken heart. In Hollywood, Jack Warner hears the news. He closes his office door, sits behind his desk, and for the first time in 30 years of running a studio, he weeps. Because he knew. They all knew. James Dean was never going to grow old. The funeral, October 8th, 1955. More than 3,000 people attend James Dean's funeral in Fairmount. They stand in the rain, weeping, holding each other, mourning a boy they never met but felt like they knew. The coffin is closed. Dean's face was too damaged in the crash. Better to remember him as he was, young, beautiful, alive. Marcus Winslow speaks. His voice breaks. Jimmy was special, he says, not because he was famous, but because he felt everything so deeply, maybe too deeply. Maybe that's why he drove so fast. He was trying to outrun his own heart. They bury him in Park Cemetery. A simple headstone, no grand monument, just his name. His dates, 1931 to 1955, 24 years. That's all he got. 24 years. The legend. 3 weeks after Dean's death, Rebel Without a Cause is released. It becomes a phenomenon. Teenagers across America see themselves in Jim Stark, the boy who doesn't fit, who doesn't understand, who just wants to be seen. The movie makes James Dean immortal. A year later, Giant comes out. Dean's final performance. It earns him a posthumous Academy Award nomination. He doesn't win, but it doesn't matter. Because James Dean has already won something greater than any award. He's won eternity.